What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. JP Dividends here, bringing you guys another video, and today I'm going to share with you guys how to start dividend investing in 2023. Now, I know we're about to start August, but it is never too late to start investing, especially if you're a dividend investor such as myself. So today I'm going to share with you guys 5 tips or just 5 different things that you need to consider before starting a dividend portfolio, just different things that I think are really important that you should either know or at least ask yourself before you jump into it. So let's jump into it. So the first thing you're going to want to look at is deciding how long your time horizon is. So you want to figure out whether you want to invest for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and basically just figure out, what is that money going to be used for long term? If you're 20 years old and you want to retire at age 40, well, then you got a 20-year timeline. If you're 20 years old and you are okay with retiring at age 60, you got a 40-year timeline. Pretty simple there. The next thing you need to know is understanding your risk tolerance. Typically, how it works is the longer the time horizon, the higher the risk tolerance, because a 20-year-old, they can take on a lot more risk than somebody who's close to retirement. An example of this is, let's pretend the market crashed 20 or 30% in a year. The 20-year-old who has a lot more time for the market to recover and go back up again because they got a long time horizon, they're all good. They don't have to stress that 20 or 30% drop compared to a person who's about to retire in 5 years. That's a lot different story. So basically understand your risk tolerance, and it also can vary person by person. It's not just like an age and a time horizon thing. So just basically try to figure out, what is your risk tolerance? Do you have a high risk tolerance? Do you have a low risk tolerance? Or are you kind of in the middle where you at? Step number 3 is decide if you want to focus more on yield or growth. And what I mean by that is specifically for dividend investors, do you want to focus on having higher yielding stocks or higher growth stocks? Now, both have their pros and cons, but typically someone who has a longer time horizon would focus more on growth. Stocks that maybe they don't pay a 5+% dividend, but they grow that dividend at a pretty high rate. A few examples of this could be Microsoft, Apple, Costco, Home Depot, Broadcom, and United Health Group. Now, I'm not saying to go out and buy these stocks, but stocks like these that I just listed, they tend to have higher growth rates in their dividends, and they have better returns on the stock price itself. So overall, I think it's, pretty good option going the growth route. But if you wanted some higher yielding stocks, a few examples would be Altria Group, JEPI, Verizon. Those stocks are higher yielding, but if you go look at the returns of them the past 5 years, not so pretty. But at the end of the day, it's your call. Now, step number 4, and this one I emphasize as much as possible. Before buying a single stock or a single ETF or investing anything in the stock market, please learn the basics of dividend investing. Here are a list of terms that I would suggest learning. Feel free to pause, take a screenshot, do whatever you got to do, but you need to know these terms before you start dividend investing, or if you know them, it's going to help you out a lot. And then moving on to the 5th and final tip that I have for you is that investing consistently will be your best friend. And I know what you're thinking, even $25, no, it's not worth my time. I want to have a huge portfolio. No, even $25 or $50 invested a week, that can add up to be a lot of money in 30 years as shown here. Set up a consistent amount that you can invest and keep buying whether markets are bad or good. That's one thing I've definitely learned is don't even really pay attention to what the markets are doing. Just keep on buying. Consistent buying will help make you more dividend income, which will buy you more shares, which you guessed it, gives you more income, and the cycle continues. And this is one of the biggest things I think a lot of new investors overlook is that long-term consistency. I have a lot of friends even right now where they don't even want to get into the market because they're like, oh, it's not really worth my time if I only have $50 or $100. And it's like, no, you definitely can build up a good portfolio, especially if you're throwing that money in semi-consistently. And like I said, even $20, $25 a week, it'll go a long way over time. And to be completely honest, the way to ultimately grow your portfolio long-term is consistency. I started doing this a few years ago, right after the 2020 crash, right around like summer of 2020. And I remember feeling extremely discouraged with my dividends because I'd only get like 12 cents a month or $1 a month. And now just a few years later, I'm averaging about $80 a month. So use that as some encouragement. Here are some screenshots just to prove to you that I was only getting like 20 cents a month, 40 cents a month. I think this is back in like May of 2020. But yeah, use that as encouragement. I know it seems really lame when you first start out because you put in hundreds of dollars and you only get a couple cents a month or $1, but keep doing it. I'm telling you guys, long term, it's going to pay off. So those are my tips on how to start a dividend portfolio in 2023 and some different approaches as well as things to consider before starting your portfolio. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like down below, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.